If we wanted to change something about the dress in ZBrush, we can also do that. Let's see if I go back to my dress here, and I'll zero out all the morphs that we've made so far under morph, so that I can basically have a go at this in ZBrush. So this is the original with the slightly longer sleeves and the slightly shorter skirt. So ZBrush integration, and Chris, if you have it installed, great. Make sure you also install the GoZ plugin that comes from DAZ for free. So if you install that and you have ZBrush installed, it also auto launches. So with the whole figure selected, file, send to ZBrush, and it'll come up with this option here first. There's actually a setting that I can show you that might be helpful. Export at current resolution, you can say yes or no. If you disable that, it'll send it over in base resolution. That's kind of the recommended way of doing things. But if you ever wanted to make a change to the HD geometry, you can select this, and then the subdivision surface modifier will be applied, and then it'll be sent over to ZBrush. I don't think it is able to send the change back unless you're PA. They have a special kind of tool that lets you bake HD morphs into the Genesis geometry. As mere mortals, we don't have that, so let's leave that on disabled. And export with deformations. This is another exciting option. So enable that to send over the morphs that you've dialed in on your figure. If you disable that, the figure will appear as the A pose in base resolution in ZBrush. So we probably don't want that if we wanted to create a Fit-Morph. So those options are enabled by default, I believe. Export with deformations, and disable export at current resolution to send it over at base res. Hit accept, and that of course will launch ZBrush for us. Well, let's just say Jay is a ZBrush owner. He's not necessarily a ZBrush operator. So yeah, that's one of those things. I've bought it many years ago, but I really don't know how to use it. Biscuits knows how to use ZBrush. So we can learn from Biscuits. This is a total, ZBrush says, yeah, there's a new version. I'll say I'm good with it. I might, I'm gonna not upgrade just yet. It works. I'm not gonna break anything. ZBrush takes a lot of time to get used to, so I know extremely little about it, literally nothing, so do forgive my non-existent modeling skills. But the first thing we need to do is select the item that has been sent over, which is in this case the Jacqueline figure, and then we can go and left click and drag her out. And there she is. Even though we didn't see the dress in the preview, here she is. Left click and drag, maybe hold shift down if you want, and then let go, and then do nothing else. You have to go into edit mode right away, because otherwise you paint copies of her on the canvas, which is, slightly unintuitive. As soon as you're in edit mode, you can go and frame her up, and yes, then you're gonna have to relearn navigation as we once knew it. So there's no more left click and drag. There's now right click and drag. If you're not on the figure, that'll tumble around her. And the guys from Fit-Morphs explain this really, really well. There's a free video on their channel that explains basically getting started with ZBrush. I have to watch this video every time I'm away from ZBrush for longer than 6 months, because I just forget. So if you right click and drag off the figure, then you'll tumble around. You can also right click, tumble, and then hit shift, and that will snap her into place if you want to do that. You can also, you can't mouse scroll in and out. You have to go and you do all these things with the right click and the alt key. So right click and move, then hit alt, and then at some point, no, it's actually right click, then alt, and then, how does this work again? Or was it left click? I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's it. So alt, left click, and then you pan, but then when you let go of alt, you kind of zoom in or something. I don't really, I've never really gone that comfortable with ZBrush, but once you manage to zoom into the item of clothing you wanna mess with, let's say the skirt here. So I really don't know anything about the brushing tools. It's just about the principle of doing the morphs back and forth. You can go and hit B, S, T, that'll pick a brush. So B will bring up the brush menu that you can pick anything from, and they all have little shortcuts. So ST is the standard brush, which may or may not work in our case. before you can start noodling around on anything, so right now it'll make a morph on the figure. It won't do it on the clothing, so Control Z will disable that. All these items that are parented with the figure, they're subtools. So the main thing that you sent over, like the figure, is the main tool, and then there's appended subtools, which are additional parts of the geometry. That's how ZBrush does it. And for us to have a look what those are, in the palette on the right, there's the subtool menu, and when you open that, you get a list of items that are also on your figure. So the figure itself is this, but then this here, this is now a subtool. So the dress is a subtool, and then there's also the eyelashes, or the tear ducts, that's a subtool, and the eyelashes and so forth. So make sure you pick the correct item that you want to noodle with. So in our case, it's the dress. So let's just select that, and you see that the dress changes color slightly. So our original figure is now kind of dark gray, and this means now if I try to sculpt on this, nothing happens. But if I now try and sculpt on the dress, I can see that, you know, things do happen. I really don't know anything about which brush to select, but if we were to make, you know, like maternity dress 2.0, or there's kind of an inflate brush, I think BIN, is it? That's the inflate brush that kind of inflates geometry here. Tons of options, of course, that you can make sure you change the area of influence and all that. That's just, you know, that's just ZBrush knowledge, which I don't have. But imagine this is now a morph. Without going too much into detail of ZBrush, this is now a morph. And if we wanted to bring this back over into DAZ Studio, it's a bit like the Hexagon approach. It's one click. It's up here in the top right corner. Go Z. If ZBrush already knows about the programs that it can send things to, it will automatically just go back. So if I now click Go Z, it'll just go and knows, hey, this came from DAZ Studio, I'm going to send it back to DAZ Studio. And that's all I have to do. And then in DAZ Studio, it's come up with another funky dialog that lets me import this morph now. So morph name, ZBrush morph, I don't really mind. We can call it skirt test maybe. And it puts it into the group path, so you can change that to something that you like better. Override existing morph, that's kind of nice if you've made it try and it didn't quite work so well and you want to have another go, you can just go keep sending it, and then that morph will be updated. You don't end up with 20 morphs, each of which you don't want. It's only the last one that you want. It can just override that, which is kind of nice. UVs we're not worried about, and import as new or accept or advanced. You just hit accept and that'll create that morph now. And just as beautiful as it was in ZBrush, it does exactly that. It also goes into the negative, so that's just a matter of changing the parameter to 0. And yeah, so this is how the ZBrush workflow is, and this is quite nice to. If only I knew how to use ZBrush, this would be such an exciting way to bring morphs back and forth, but sadly I don't. Maybe one day I will. You can do it on anything. You can do it on the hair, you can do it on the actual figure, like the position of the pendant, for example. If you're in a pose and the pendant kind of digs into the body, it'll be really easy to just sculpt that out, and you don't have to export intermediate files and all that. In fact, let's see if we can do that. If we go back here, let's see if I can find the pendant. Is that not a subtool? Is that has that come with the figure? Is that possible? I don't actually know. I think there's also a way to select the actual geometry you want. Was it just with Alt selecting? Yeah, there we go. So that's the pendant. Oh, there it is. I didn't see it as a subtool there. But if I go and sculpt that out, can I do that? Oh, I can. This is the inflate brush. Oh yeah, I see. Mega pendant. Right. Not what I wanted. BST maybe again. Can I do anything? Does anything happen? Oh yeah, there we go. Changes position. Hit Go Z, and I think that's all I need to do. I'll just call it pendant move for now. Hit accept. And it's not here on the dress because I suppose I have to go and hit the actual item, which I don't actually know where it is. Where is it? Necklace, there we go. Nexus necklace now has pendant move. Haha, nice. So one of my plans is to learn ZBrush and make full use of this, because I have ZBrush. I've spent so much money for it years ago, and I haven't actually used it yet, but I'm thinking this is a great tool for scene building to just bring quick morphs in and out. I think this is going to be good. Yes, Chris, I totally agree. And I admire everyone who knows ZBrush and who can use it, but I think, like with many things, if you think about the Blender interface, be it intuitive or not, I think once you get used to it, it'll all just fade into the background and you'll naturally understand what you need to do. So I know nothing about ZBrush right now, but one of my plans is to learn it and to make full use of it, at least for the quick fixes. And for those of us who don't know it, there's always Hexagon. So Hexagon, like I showed before, that's just another great option for quick fixes. And some options will be better in ZBrush, like the sculpting features. If you need to if you know how to sculpt things out, that'll be great in ZBrush. But other things like the length of the skirt or the length of the cuffs, that's going to be so much easier to just quickly do in Hexagon. And yeah, I thought I'd show you both options, and I hope this was helpful, at least to get you started. There's one other thing about the ZBrush integration that I wanted to show you. So in ZBrush itself, if you open this for the first time, this Go Z button here, if you click that, it will say, hey, I understand there may be other applications on your computer that you may want to map. So that'll come up and it'll ask you for applications that you might not even have. So there's Photoshop and I think Maya, and there's bridges to all kinds of things that are all made by the ZBrush guys or by Pixologic. And on first installation, you click this button, it'll come up with this dialog that'll ask you, where are these applications? And you have to tell it. You have to tell it, where is DAZ Studio, where is Photoshop and all that. And then the process will be working automatically. I think there's also, can you control click, I believe? Control actually brings up a little help menu here. I didn't know that. Control click. No, that doesn't work. That's not what I meant. There's a way to manually force this, but I don't remember how it works. Is it Alt, maybe? Nope, Alt is also not how it works. there is a way to manually remap these things. Was it right click? No. It's once again, it's ZBrush. I don't really know how to bring this up again, but I know it happens on first installation, and then on subsequent runs, it'll just know where this thing has been sent from. I was in Preferences. Let's have a look. Preferences. And then, my God, who has that many preferences? This is terrible. Go Z at the bottom, maybe. And here is, it's kind of running off on the, oh, there we go. Left click on an empty portion of a menu to scroll it up and down. Duh. Let's try again. Thank you, Biscuits. I appreciate that. So here it is. Update all paths, that's the one. Path to Cinema 4D, path to DAZ Studio, and so forth. Even Marvelous Designer, I've tried ZBrush with Marvelous Designer. Didn't quite understand why it wanted to do that, but it's just, I don't really understand how ZBrush tweaks back and forth in or out of Marvelous Designer are useful. We didn't work that out. I tried this in a Twitch stream. But yeah, this is where you set the paths. And you can also say force reinstall. I think that is what brings it back to kind of initial configuration. So yeah, this is something to watch out for. If your path isn't set, then you can set it here. Browse, or you can say not installed. That's also an option. So the other menu that is interesting is inside DAZ Studio. Go cancel out of that. That is also under Preferences. That's under Edit, Preferences, Bridges. Here it is. So that's where options for both Hexagon and Go Z are hiding. So for Hexagon, you have Advanced or Basic. So if you let it show the advanced options, that's when you get this dialog that shows you, do you want to use reverse deformations, yes or no. If you set this to basic, I don't think that dialog comes up, and it will decide were there deformations or not. So, in case you don't see this dialog, click it to advanced. Then also use the path to Hexagon here. So Hexagon, much like DAZ Studio, is available in a couple of versions. There's one that is, that's the beta version that has some more features. There's a 64-bit version. I don't know if that's out of beta yet, but you can point it directly to whichever version of Hexagon you want to use in case you have multiple. And then you have the Go Z options. That means show options and update path. So update path was an important one. Sadly, I don't really recall why that was. There was, I've read it in the changelog. This was good to set it onto yes. I remember that. I think if you don't set it to yes, then ZBrush might not always understand where the object came from. I think that's the implication. I think. I don't exactly recall, but this was important. And then also show options. This is the same dialog that we had before. If you set this to no, then things will be kind of assumed and being automatically put into back into your object. But if you set it to yes, you have full control over naming the morph and also reverse deformations. There we go. That was all I have on Hexagon and ZBrush. I hope it was helpful.